ever been watching some of those videos? Quite brutal ones, yeah?
Yeah.
Crime investigations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
First and foremost, there are some very sick individuals. But again, when you're watching it like that, it's compiling all of the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
But when you think about it on the larger scale, per community, there are a few rotten apples, let's say then.
Yeah.
Can't say that they ruin it for the bunch, but do you notice how their fingerprint trail is not the same as anybody else? But even when you go back into the background of them, these individuals, they come from very different backgrounds. Some rich, some poor, some middle, some average, some this. Some have good childhood, some have bad childhood, some have this. And then they go on to create... So you notice that there's never a fingerprint. I don't even know if I can say that, nor DNA. There's never two the same.
Yeah.
There's similarities, but totally different. Now, you see with this, most of them have this sort of belief in... Some of the stuff is very dark. And that they believe in, like, one particular one we were watching yesterday, like devil worship and all the rest of it. Well, it wasn't that. It was more like an occult where they would summon on these and deities and different things like that. I think that the universe, personally, me, source, energy, and anything beyond the collective, oldest beings, the universe, godly, whatever you want to put there, I think that this has a very great sorting process for individuals like this. I don't think that there is a devil. I don't believe in this, and but you see, it's very contradictory, isn't it, to say that you believe in one, but you don't believe in the other.
Yeah.
Well, and again, belief is not a very strong word. That I know it's hard to say this because it seems silly, but at the same time, it's the silliness of what is put in. So I'm going to say it from my perspective then, and probably another video that I was listening to, is more I know this side of it exists. That side of it does not exist. So when I'm talking about it is the collected. Yeah? So all beings that pass on from this plane, spiritual, yes? So you want to put it there, there's that. Oldest beings, and that's not just congruent to Earth, and that's not just, homed in just on Earth. That is any planet out there that harbors any type of life. There are two types of life, as far as I'm concerned, in this aspect. There is the collected, and then there is the not collected. This is again, this is something that I happen to... I'd have to say I know then, or is it belief? I'm not really sure. I like the mystery of it. But there would be no collecting of bad vessels at all. And I think that the universe's greatest way to balance things out, the collected, that means universe included, that means the oldest being. And the oldest being is the first ones that made it. Yeah, so let's say that there's a certain... This universe is sorting things out for a particular reason. There's no ifs or buts about it, or maybes. It is definite, actual fact that we are all being sorted. And all, not meaning all beings on this planet, all beings across the whole entire cosmos. This biome, as much as I think that there's need to know and what there is needing to know. So when you look up and you think, oh, wow, that's a lot of stars. But there are even more stars than that. But there's enough there to satisfy your mind that if you were to see the universe in its entirety, it gets too complex. So you are, as beings... multiple different beings. So where we sit on this rocky body flying around something that's very hot, spinning, always going around and around, you are learning this area in a bite-sized chunk. And you have another one in another area that can't see this side, and likewise you can't see that because it's just too far away. They're learning that part. You're learning this part. Okay, and I think the objective is that eventually you begin to expand. So you leave the Earth and then you'll go out to voyage. And if this group meets with this group being humans and this one being beings, and they meet together, the knowledge of both sides can really quickly be learned. And this works here as it would do beyond this of what we understand beyond to be. So... yes, there are two ways to do it. One is collected in the source energy, and all of that information is being brought back to source. And you could say, well, why would the universe want to know that? Well, because the universe is technically, you have to understand the universe and the universe understands you in this aspect. However, the eyes and ears of the universe are you, the beings, the vessels, the animals, the plants. If you think about it, each one of us, each creature is learning a different part of the environment. You don't want to go out and hunt mice because they're not satisfying enough, but yet you have a cat that will do that. Perhaps not naturally, but even still, it is learning an awful lot of stuff. The mouse is learning the cat. Like it or lump it. So then you have a bird that is learning the air, the dynamics. Now, if humans learn the fish and they learn the bird, what do? Well, we know how to now make submarines. We know how to make ships when we watch a seagull or duck boat. When we sit there and watch a bird, aeroplanes. When we look up at space, you have to take all of that combined knowledge of learning all of the animals around you, and this will then let you get into space. Why? Well, because what can you see in space that can teach you about it? Everyone will be like, well, we learned because we went there. That's not true. That is not true. There were pyramid steps to take. Each step. First, before you go learning all of that, you had to learn all of this. Then when this takes on a boring, same old day in, day out type of stuff, humanity, beings, naturally get bored of the same rut and stuff. Hence why you have so many empires that change. And we'll get into something else in a minute. So, the beyond spiritual information being collected. But if you are a very bad vessel that is learning humans and how to kill and do this, that, and the other, I don't think, it's not a think, I know it, you won't be collected. It's easier just to non-exist you. As much as that would be, well, that's impossible. Well, non-existence in my understanding of it, which I understand from here, is that you can still exist, but you just won't exist as what you existed as. Which would be human, which would be a human named, let's say, I don't know, Mike, Adam. That Adam being vessel will never come together to formulate that Adam again. Now, say, but the energy can't be created nor destroyed. Yeah, well, yes, because it's the universe. It's very much more intelligent than all of that. You can still exist, but a part of your hydrogen can be put over there. A little bit of your, brain matter can all be diverged. It can all be put back into the earth, if you like, and never once rise up again. If the universe created you here, and everyone will be like, well, the universe had to learn a lot about itself, bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit, cycle per cycle, learning more and more and more. And it learns a lot more quicker, faster, and efficiently if it's got something that understands it. One, it knows how to communicate with you, and you know how to communicate with it. This is going to take a lot of steps on that pyramid to reach that, and all beings have to work together in order to reach that. If you've got beings that are out there that are destructive as anything towards one another, that is not needed. The universe is quite capable of destructing the whole thing whenever it needs to. And likewise, it's quite capable of creating birth. Death and birth, birth and death. You see, I believe that the universe is binary. And while one is closing, the other one is opening and flourishing. And while this one starts to close down, this one is opening. I think the universe has a lacking of memory. It only knows because of what it is. It's cleverly designed. Everything wants to cheat death. Everything wants to live forever. That is given to any vessel. I think that is going to be the most common shared characteristics between any other life forms that you may meet. Aliens on this planet over here or over here. The same thing that they're all going to have in common, this one thing is all going to be in common, is they all want more of this living. And that is very strange, isn't it? They all want more of this living. So, again, when learning to leave the planet, you have collected a lot of information. From animals, you've learned, trees, you've learned, bacteria, you've learned. Then you've also gone on to learn pressure, depths of an ocean. You've learned altitude, mountains. You've also learned the food where humans are associated and they plant food here, well, it doesn't grow. Well, if I dig this out like this and make it into a bit of a pit here, oh, it grows. This is growing. Ah, now you're learning. Combine. But why have you been learning all of this? What has been the purpose of learning all of this? Well, the thing that sets us apart from animals, each have a purpose, but a learning purpose and then a knowledge sharing purpose. We all share knowledge. Everybody shares knowledge. I think even animals just do it a bit more differently to how humans do it. Humans is all out. Everything is all out there and this, that and the other and it's talk and this, and we've put so much emphasis on noise and words and sounds. You know, at the end of the day, all writing is scribble that is made sense of scribble. So humans have made sense of this stuff called scribble. Isn't that weird? Yeah. And humans have scribbled something and then, we make sense of that. And sounds, we make sense of these sounds that are then memorized. Animals, it's body language. It's watch and see and learn and do and watch I know how to hunt this. But it's strange and odd that a cat that has been born, my sister had a cat. It was a kitten actually, and it came from a mum that got run over. Mum died, but the kittens, they knew that the cat was pregnant, so they did what they needed to do to save the kittens, and all of the kittens survived. Now, they were wild as anything, but without ever being taught and reared by humans, without ever being taught how to hunt, they knew how to do it. In fact, far more better than most any other cats that I've ever seen. And my uncle had one of these cats as well. He actually called Maggots. It's absolutely bonkers. Illuminatingly bonkers. Not like bonkers as in you'd never want a cat like that. You would probably more so want a cat like that because of its character. But they all shared this similar character trace with them, or characteristic with one another, which was this nuttiness. And what I mean by nuttiness would be hanging off a curtain rail with one arm clacked into it, a paw into the curtain, hanging onto it whilst cleaning with the other one. Like, it wasn't even hanging up there. And even when it got older, it would bomb down there and jump up there and then bomb back down over there. And right? But the thing is, how did it know to hunt so well? So part of it is body language, yes. But another part of it is that magic that the information that's being read over generation. I think the best way to tap into it for any beings, and I think this is going to be a number 2 that is going to be shared with all beings, is being able to tap in to your inside our bodies, our evolution. We have access, but I think we forgot. I think we forgot how to do it. Or a bit like the vitamin C, it started to get shut down for some reason, you know? So our bodies used to make vitamin C. Perhaps not. Perhaps it was more richer in the environment. It's probably more logical. Something happened in Earth's history where there was an abundance of vitamin C when you breathe or drank in the waters, or perhaps there was orange trees everywhere and they managed to turn vitamin C into the water. There was a lot more vitamin C. And perhaps it was so abundant that the body was like, I don't know if I need to make this anymore. What's the point? I could use this energy for something else. But I think the one thing that would be great to tap into is to have a piece of atomic computing, and part of it goes on the outside of you. Another part is like little bots inside you, nanobots, if you want to call it that. And tapping into parts of the brain, taking care of immunity. Again, it could be quite a devastating thing, because if you think about it, if you get really great with immunity, your natural immune system will stop in favor for these nanobots that you put inside yourself. Another one will probably be to understand the brain. To be able to know things without actually doing any of the work necessary in order to know these things. So you could have implants instilled into you and have this fast update of knowledge. And then it's a very different world when things start to... it's not a different world, it's a different being. To have this fast update of knowledge. So rather than going to learn something, the database is put into your mind. A bit like a computer. So being able to install these programs into you and then being able to wake up the next day, which is turn on the computer, and then just know how to operate and function these. And I think that that's then when life becomes a little different. So, okay, we're going on Mars today. Okay, I need to know. All right. Really, it's not a need to know. It's an update. And then when you're done, I mean, having the ability to remove programming that no longer serves a purpose, and also to be able to update your programming. Bad memory that you're struggling with, depression will be gone. Anxiety, I think that would naturally subside. I think a lot of human worry and troubles will just disappear. There will be a lot more things to sweat about, I think. And I think slowly but surely you begin to eliminate it. So the second thing that I think that beings that would share is wanting to know more of this. Now, if your family have spent years being weavers, or they've done this, or they've done that, and they've been on railway tracks, and they've done this, and they've done that, and they've done this, and they've done that, why is your mind so empty? How do you not have this ability to tap into that when it's written into your DNA? There are parts of this stored, but that knowledge seems, and I'm going to say seems to be not there. It seems to be missing. Deliberately, I say that knowledge hasn't just disappeared. It's occupied. It's being learned, but perhaps not from your perspective, and it's far easier for you to have a more of an emptier mind vessel, so that when you grow, you might learn something new, and this new learning that you need to know is what supports humanity, evolution to survive. And I don't call it survivors in, fight or flight survival. No, I'm on about overall survival. There's nothing scary in that, whether it does or doesn't, I think that the universe will pick out the vessels that are needed from that, even if it does succeed. But the universe, the divine, the collected are not just going to rely on humanity. That's when you look at the universe and you see, star. Then you start to see, planet, lots of planets. That is not holding all of its one egg in one basket, holding Earth. There would be no need to have any other planet if all of the universe's attention and time was spent on just one Earth, with one set of humans, with one set of animals, with one sets of nature, one sets of humans. I don't know if it makes any sense. And to spend all of its time and energy and effort on just one planetary system, on one star. Sure, it could probably make the finest star that lasts the longest, because it could put all of its time, attention, and dedication into just one. But I think that doesn't let you cover enough ground. And then the universe might want to expand more into itself to be able to learn itself at the same time. So you could look at the universe as being a separate body, or you could look at it as being an entwined body that it is learning too. It has also got vessels within it that are learning too, which then help it learn even faster, which then allow in turn for it to give more to its vessels, which then in turn helps more for this growing process. So perhaps in the beginning it started with one, and this is where you get the tales from, which, again, when people are writing a Bible, whether people will say it's fiction or fact, yes, or these tales are true or false, the one thing that you can never, ever, ever be able to know for sure, fully know, is how do you not know that a divine hand wasn't on your mind while they were writing these artificial stories?
Yeah, you don't know that. And
so any artificial story that has been wrote and currently is being written, has ever been written throughout history, how do you not know that all of these hasn't been guided by divine?
And they were also copied already into Bible. Some of them are older than Bible itself.
The problem is with knowing too much about the divine and life after death and knowing it, there is a problem to it. That's why it's not known. The reason why it's not known is because you won't do anything. That's the unfortunately, like the animals don't do a lot about their own fate. It's probably because they know more than you. That's how it is. And they tend not to do as much about it. They won't do anything about it because it's like, well, that's all right. God will get me. There's no need to try. There's no need to learn. In fact, people won't even bother living. What's the point? You find the fastest way out. I'm out. Bye. It takes a real lot of grit to stay on a planet under such misery when there are easy ways out. Not going to deny it. And you can't deny that. There is an easy way out. Some people say it's the coward's way out. Well, don't know. Depends how you want to spin the coin on that one. It's either the bravest thing that some people have done, or it is the cowardice thing that anyone's ever done. But the cowardice thing comes from old ways to walk people, criminals, psychologically, to get them to go into the gallows if they'd ever had to face capital punishment. The capital punishment, the worst thing that was second, or actually was more higher than the capital punishment itself, was being labelled as a coward. That was more high in people's mindset, psyche, than actually facing the penalty itself. Isn't that something? So that was the only reason why people called it cowardice, was because it was to get you into the... And again, there wasn't much entertainment back then either. So anyway, let's move on from that one, because there's a bit of a... But again, if you fully knew, you wouldn't do anything. That's the problem with that. You would just wait for, well, it's all right. Or if we wait here and there is this knowing that there are vessels on other planets and we'll all meet one day, and that, you see, that's the sad fact about it. But again, at the same time, there's just enough. That's why the belief is so important. That's why it has to be the is it or isn't it type. Is it like that or isn't it? Is there a beyond? It needs to be a mystery.
Yeah.
Because I think it's not. I think it time and time again you'll see this play out, that if individuals know too much of this, they tend not to want to shoot for the stars, let's say, and then that doesn't help the universe overall. Now, if you follow along to this and you actually put out and you put out and you put out and you put out, the rewards, I can assure you, after this are far more greater. The knowing is then, you then get to know it. You then get to, you're then privy to it. And it doesn't matter how much praying you do, it doesn't matter how much begging you do, it doesn't matter how much sharing you do. I think that, a lot of people during prayer, from what I've heard, is all about asking for something. Try switching it up a little bit. Ask, what is it you want me to do? That's a better question, I think, for this is very healthy relationship to have with whatever you believe in, spirituality, if you believe in that. If you believe in that, again, it poses another problem though, of it seems a book was written, one that was very, you see, this is another fickle side to it, or a book was written, whether fictional or not, whether true or not. Guidelines, take it with a pinch of salt, do take it, don't take it, the Bible. And then we start to hear of a counteracting. There is this like duality of it, like it's almost like someone went and wrote a book that was opposite to it. That's you see, there's the dangerous thing of it, is the polarity of humans is everything has to be either black or it has to be white. It can't see. So if someone's going to go out and do this over here, I'm going to go and grow some oranges. Yeah, well, I am going to grow some bananas. Neither one of you are growing them, the tree does. You are just giving the plant what it needs in order to give you the fruit. So you technically, you just put the tree in the ground, you put a seed in and it grew. Really, did you have to do much? Not really, because bananas will grow on their own. Oranges will grow on their own. It's not a lot of hard work to look after an orange field. Well, perhaps if you get a lot of diseases in, but then that's if you grow them in what type of soil you grow it in. I think people would travel to find the better soil to get the better crop. And other than that, they knew that they didn't really need to do a lot, because nature's nature. It will grow. Hence why we have these foods here and have done for many evolutions. So, again, do I believe in that there is a devil or that there is an opposite force out there to the whole universe? No. No, I don't. Not at all. In fact, actually, I find that, and you could say, well, what about if it was the devil's hand that placed it? The fully divine, the universe, would not allow it. Straight up, no one, and I do mean no one in the collective, would ever agree to that. They'd never let it happen. It would never happen. Now, whether that's in a different biome elsewhere, but is, again, now not known to the collected, because the collected have to learn about the collected area that they may be in. The universe has made you once. If the universe made you with lungs, is it a true possibility that the universe could make you without lungs, without the need to breathe?
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Is it true that the universe then, if it is capable of, via processes, knows how to make oxygen, knows how to make carbon, knows how to make every single thing that you find here in the abundance? Just like you take those seeds on an earth and think, I'm going to grow some oranges. And you go and put them into the nice fertile soil. How do you not know that in the collected area, it is the perfect level, the perfect of anything that you've got? All of the ingredients are there. It just depends on how you mix them together. Then that would be what you would class as a god then. But we would miss the structure of the universe itself. So when it comes to God, I get confused as to what people are going on about. Do they mean a man in the sky? I don't see it that way. I see it the universe, and then I see the first beings that were there would then be the oldest beings, and then the newcomers. But the newcomer and the eldest beings that were there are not above or below each other. They are equal to one another, and the universe is equal to. And then there's this give and take in the... So you have what you need at your leisure within that. Now, coming back here, would you, at the collected, if you was collected, and that there was a guarantee that you would go back, would you go off to learn something else elsewhere? However, with saying that, it's not always so true that a vessel that is destined to be bad here, let's say, becomes bad, is always going to be bad. But, again, likeliness of that, I would say that that would not be in existence. There again, come into this one then. Let's go with it then. So what about memories that you harbour? What about being able to remove dreadful memories from your mind?
Yeah.
No different from making technology here. There, it's easier achievable. Here, it is a lot more challenging to get to it. But it has a purpose. All of this has a purpose. And then, do you think that if you learn a little bit more about your vessel, that the universe, being a vessel too, learns more about its vessel and learns something new about itself, and you learn more about yourself? It's very interesting, isn't it? Isn't it very interesting? So, again, there is more to this, I call it a medium. It's a medium. There is more to it, but it does not serve anybody here. Anything here, there's no business knowing it. Why is there no business knowing it? Well, because what good would it do here? That's the thing. You will know it when you get there. And then we'll be learning again. It never stops with this learning. Thrive in it. There is a reason for this, a big one. I think only a few get to it to understand this reason. Do all? No, I don't think so. No, I don't think. Unless it's got a specific job for you to do that involves lots of misery and killing. Then I guess, can you imagine a place? When you look at it on the plus side of this, when you look at the amount of goodness that there is, then it really gives you some hope that the numbers are more on that favour than they are on disfavour. Do you see the... And then some people are like, oh, that person then did this, and this, and then they got the easy way out. Oh, don't be so sure. And then, you can think of a hell, but what would be the point? That would be very counterintuitive to the whole universal structure, really, wouldn't it? So anyway, where was I going with this? Well, it's probably going to lead on to a next video, to be honest. I'm just warming up. I'm just bringing this in. So If we stop this one here and we'll go on to another,